guys, today I'm going to show you guys how I made my own lace closure wig, and I'm going to go ahead and show you step by step. So first, I'm using 3 bundles and a lace closure from my hair company. I believe this is a 16, 18, and a 20 inch, and the lace closure is 14 inches. And I'm using a Spandex cap dome as well. So first I'm going to start with this 3-part lace closure. I'm just going to sew it on first and kind of not customize it yet, but I'm just going to cut the lace off so that I could make it super flat. And I'm going to show you guys how I part and I flatten my lace closure. This is very important to making a natural looking lace closure or a wig. You basically want to flatten your frontal or even your lace closure first by flat ironing it and then placing it on your wig cap. And don't make your parts like super long, like towards the back, because you do want a few hairs to cover up the tracks that are going to be at the crown of your head. And I'm using this on high heat. Of course, my hair is good quality, so it's not going to melt. But in your case, I'm not sure what hair you may have, so just to be on the safe side, try to put it at like a 25 or a setting that's not the highest. So I'm carefully placing, just for placement, placing my lace closure onto the Spandex Dome Cap, and you're going to sew right where it is, so you could pin it down, but I don't have any pins. And be careful not to sew down the elastic bands, so you can see where I'm actually sewing. It's on the outside of the elastic, not the band. Well, you don't want to sew on the band either, but you see the stitching, you never want to sew on that either, because that's going to prevent it from stretching. And all of my customers, except for my mom, she's the only one who's complained about her cap being too small, but all of my other clients have no complaints, and they have different head sizes. But these Spandex Dome Caps are one size fits all, and as long as you see that I'm doing, as long as you don't sew onto the actual elastic band, you can see that I'm kind of stretching it out and I'm sewing on the actual fabric, the nylon fabric. And so, you know, it should still fit. Now this is what it looks like after I've stitched down or sewed down my lace closure. And I'm going to just go ahead and tuck this hair away or pin it up or whatever so it won't be in the way. And as you can see, it's laying flat already. So now I'm using my longest bundle, which is a 20 inch, and I'm just going to carefully sew. And again, I'm not going to sew on the actual elastic band. That's why I'm stretching it out so you guys can see that the fabric actually comes off, you know, to make sure that you're not sewing through it. If you feel like it's thick and it's giving you a hard time, then that means that you're sewing through the elastic band, and you don't want to do that because it will not stretch. And you can see right here that I'm not sewing directly onto the stitch. I'm sewing around it so that it can still expand whenever I stretch the dome cap. So please make sure that you do not sew on the elastic band or the stretch stitching. Now, another complaint that I've never had with any of my hair or my hair company wigs, or hair, I never have heard of anyone complaining that the stitches fall out. And this is because I always make sure that I secure each end with a knot. I actually do 2 knots. I did one off camera and then I did one on camera. So every time you stitch through to the end, make sure that you add a knot to it so that it'll stay in place. And I'm just flipping the hair tracks over because I don't need to cut the wefts at this point. Sometimes when I've done sew-ins in the past, you can check out my previous sew-in videos, to make it look super flat and natural, I go ahead and cut like a couple, but when you're doing a wig, it's not necessary. So you can just flip over and keep going. And this also cuts down on the time. I normally take only about an hour to do these wigs and an hour and a half to do a sew-in, a full sew-in, because of this sewing method. And you can sew through the tracks if you want to. Sometimes I sew through some of the tracks and it doesn't give me any shedding issues. And sometimes I just sew right underneath it just to secure it. But on the ends, I definitely sew through it, and I also add knots to it. And this is just for extra security. And I'm just going to go ahead and stitch until I get to the top, and I, curve it around the lace closure so that there won't be any gaps or anything. And if you want it extra full, you can use 4 bundles, but in this case, the customer only ordered 3 bundles and a lace closure, so this is what she got. Okay, so this is where the fun part begins. So you can see the lace closure. I've taken it out of the pin. And if you want to wear your hair in the natural state or just wavy, then you don't need to comb it. Just brush it a little bit so that it will keep the waves. But since I'm going to actually not flat iron, I'm going to curl it with the curling irons. I'm going to use my barrel irons by Conair Infinity, and I'm going to flatten out the tracks because sometimes they're kind of like, I don't know, just poofy or whatever. So I'm just laying all of that down. As you can see, the lace closure is already laid down, but the position I had it in, it kind of made it stick up some. So I'm just flattening out the top tracks and the lace closure. And don't worry, when I flat iron it, or not flat iron it, whenever you flat iron or curl your hair, it's going to be flat anyway. So now I'm just going to cut out the bottom part of the wig that's on the lace closure so that I can reveal the lace part, and it'll sit directly on your scalp to give it a natural illusion. And this is what it will look like. Now you can see the part going straight through, and this is what it looks like. And I have not customized this lace closure. I'm not going to do it on camera. When I have orders for my clients, unless they tell me to customize it, I don't. If I do, I just do a small plucking. So now I'm adding this heat protecting spray from Silk Elements, and this is perfect for laying down those flyaways. And it does not leave your hair oily, even though it has olive oil in it. It's just a heat protectant. And I use this for my natural hair silk presses. This stuff is so amazing. And I'm just going to go ahead and flatten it even more and proceed to curling the hair. Now this is the tutorial that I did 2 years ago with the same hair method, the curling and the sew-in, and it is flawless. So if you want to see this curling routine in detail, check that video out. I will link it in the descriptions box or add a card. And this is basically it. I'm just curling the unit, and that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure that you subscribe and thumbs up this video. Leave any comments below. And make sure you check out my previous videos. And check out my hair company. There's a 10% off discount code every day. And check out our Instagram for upcoming sales.